I don't wear the mask as I knock on the door,
Like,
but I stand back like 20 feet. And
so
then
when
I'm
you
like,
got to knock and then like run away.
basically, I mean, it's because we're tall, right? I already did that on the doors
Yeah,
anyway.
we always had to go a little further than 2 or 3 steps.
Yeah, as per Grant Greeter's recommendation and everybody else, right? But yeah, I stand back like 20 feet, and then I'm like, hey, we're just following up with information on Duke Energy's net metering program. Are you the one that handles that bill for the house? And they're just like, yeah, I guess. And I'm just like, well, um, the real short of it is that the Florida Public Service Commission passed a law that requires Duke to actually increase their renewable energy portfolio. So then they're like, huh, what? And I'm like using language that they don't hear whenever someone stops
Yeah,
by their door
jargon.
saying solar. And then it kind of gets their interest a little bit. And then I talk about bill swap and all this cool stuff. In fact, one thing that we started recently was integrating the 2020 coronavirus. Everyone's staying at home, so the energy use spiked and your rates went up, and they're like, yep, yep. And then so now
It's true.
you gotta swap your bill, man. So let's get you a quote. And so we text virtual cards where they can then set up like Zoom appointments, which is something that we're kind of getting the the steps and the logistics of that figured out. But it's
I
a
wonder
great
if
way
they'll
to
start doing that with books too. Or
how
maybe
cool
they
is
have. I don't even know. I've been out of it.
oh that's cool. Yeah, so let's just kind of like start this episode, shall we? Right? Do you
No, I
want
mean,
to bring you up to speed on how we do things?
please do.
All right. So it's just we're gonna have some fun, Jordan, and reminisce on that crazy summer in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, and we
Both.
can talk about the summer before that. You can talk about your transition out of Southwestern. We want this to be no holds barred. We just want people to share their experience because I know that it's been the best thing that I've done in terms of foundational, like character building and skill building, but we all know it could be a little bit better. And so there's the crazy things that happen, the salacious stories, and of course the funny stories and the crazy stuff that just happens on doors. Then there's like the
Hmm.
management drama, whatever you want to talk about, it'll just come out naturally, right?
And
So
that's how I think. I don't. If you were to ask me, tell me what happened at week 1, week 2, week 3. I couldn't do it. I could
right.
tell you stories, and hopefully they spur some stories on your end too.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the week 1, 2, 3, but I do remember the big Hallmark things that happened that summer.
I mean, it
Because
was
that
like
was
6, 7 years ago. It was some time.
yeah, that was like crazy stuff, man. I got injured, had to leave early. You delivered my butt. You
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 did.
made friends with some of our roommates. Whatever you want to talk about, it's
Chickpea.
okay.
Yeah.
That kid is like sentient now.
That
He has a sense
he's
of
like a
self.
real. He's not an adult, but he's like a kid now. He's like
Oh,
7. He's in
oh yeah.
second or third grade. It's crazy. That
So
that second summer, that
uh,
first summer too. Did we didn't know each other until after the first summer?
no, we totally knew each other that first summer because like I was like,
I
you're
think
the
in
other
like a,
tall
yeah.
guy, and you're like doing way better
Hmm.
than me, but we weren't like friends, because you
Yeah,
were Zach's
yeah.
roommate. I was, in a different state. I was in
It was like,
Massachusetts while you're in Connecticut. So
hmm.
it's
And
crazy.
I mean, I remember after the first summer when we did all the events, like the ball and GSG. I didn't do GSG, but what's the New Year's one called?
GRG, great, or there's
GRG.
the
Yeah, I
great
know.
GRS, Great Recruiter Seminar.
GRS. That's the one. GRS. That was
Right.
when it started to. That was when it started to get pretty fun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man. So that that second summer, did we know we were going to be roommates from like before sales school? I don't think we did.
No, we knew that like Wednesday or Thursday before going out to
Of
church.
That's
I
right.
didn't even know that was possible because we had our first summer together. And just to bring some context to the listeners,
Mhm.
we've all sold a book or two, but I love this man Jordan Greenberg almost the most. He's the one who taught me how to have fun. He's the one who like just totally taught me all the things that you don't get from Southwestern, but you also do, like how to have fun, yes, but like how to talk to ladies, right? And like I learned a lot from you on that, Jordan. But
That was,
for those listening,
yeah, for
Jordan
some
and I,
context.
oh yeah, Jordan and I sold in 2013 and 14 in the same orgs together. He sold books out of the great state of Kansas, even though he's from Chicago. Go KU. I mean, they had
Rock
their
chalk.
iffy basketball season, broke a streak this year. We won't mention it.
Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
Exactly,
We
exactly.
don't need to.
But yeah, you had a top first year summer. You almost hit PC that first summer. You were just like, I don't even know what's happening, but you were just like out there lighting the world on fire. And that second summer was a little bit different, but that's okay, right?
You know,
I love you so
I
much because you're just real and you're funny and you're real funny, bro. I love having you on this podcast. I'm excited to have these conversations and reminisce on that second summer when we were actually roommates with our our friend Greg. Who
our
quit
friend
after
Greg. I follow him. You know, I like to see what's going on in Greg's life.
That's good. That's good. So yeah,
Man.
let's start where we want to start. I don't know if you want to tell the story of how like you got recruited by Zach or anything crazy
Yeah,
like that.
I'll start kind of, you know, I'll abbreviate a lot of the first till we get to the second, but
Yeah,
just to get some background. So I was recruited by Zach Greenberg, who a lot of the listeners probably know. He was around for a while. He was just giving a speech in like a psych class, and I was like, Mexico, $10,000, probably the same thing that everybody else saw. You know, sure, I'll check it out. I think I had an internship already that summer, but you know, I saw Zach come in and do his little spiel, and I was like, I would like to make that much money. That sounds
yeah,
fun. He said we have to work hard. I didn't believe it. He told me not to get a girlfriend. I didn't listen. But you know, we've all made the mistakes. But you know, I ended up deciding to go. My family thought it was really cool to go out and sell, and I thought, you know, knocking on doors would be easy. The first summer, as we said, right, it went well. My girlfriend did break up with me like week 2, because that's how it happens.
right.
It's okay. I'm happy now.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, yeah, did well. Didn't really know why or how. Just kind of found some randomness to it all, and as you said, had fun with it. I definitely got the cops called on me. I actually remember the first door I knocked on, I got the cops called on me.
I didn't know
First
that.
door.
Go
Yeah, I
for
was
it.
with Zach. And I knock on the door, and I'm nervous. I've seen him do one. I obviously had the sale, but I'm really nervous. So I knock on the door, and it's some old guy who answers, you know, grandpa age, and I remember stuttering and being like, "Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm looking for kids. Do you know where I can find them?" And Zach just he had to pull me away and be like, "Nope, it's an internship." And then the guy, we hightailed it out of there. Yeah, that was a good first door. But you know, yeah, did well. And boy, first summer's fun. Second summer, sorry, I'm a little under the influence. Second summer, we were in the same HQ. It was me and you. It was just 2 second years, and we had not a revolving door of third roommates, but you know, a revolving door.
Well, you had the most revolving. I actually left before like Jordan
Yeah, you did.
was involved and other
And others who's actually, this isn't, I feel bad. I don't remember all of their names. I think it was Thomas. I don't know. Yeah, we were roommates, and we had the best host family you could ask for.
Oh yeah.
Heather and Charlie,
they're in Leominster, Massachusetts, right? Where
Hmm.
Will Metcher, Andy Laws, Andrew Williamson all stayed in prior years. And I remember it was a particularly hot summer, that 2014 summer. And,
Hmm.
I'd sold in Massachusetts the year before, and I was kind of bummed out that I was going back, man.
I
But I
wanted to
didn't
go.
have to find
I
my
wanted to
host
go south.
Yeah, sure, man. I was just happy that I didn't have to find a host family. So yeah, we
That's
got set up
true.
with Charlie, Heather. We first stayed with Charlie's parents because they hosted
Oh my
like in
God,
the
that's right.
70s and 80s. Yeah, that's where dude, I still have that picture. I come across it every so often of you sleeping in their baby bed.
I was sleeping in a baby's crib because there was no other beds.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. And
they were
and
so
then,
nice, right? So caring. And they were like, hey, let me show you how to navigate this little town of Gardner. And then we moved over to
mhm.
Leominster. And it was just so fun, man.
And
Uh,
moving to Leominster was really just the chef's kiss of the summer
oh,
because it was Charlie and Heather and their new baby who had to be what, like 6 months old?
about one. Just about one.
About one. Yeah. And they were just in this old house with their random roommate Ashley, who was like kind of weird.
White girl with dreads, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All that, right?
She was just basically lived in like the attic. It was weird, but
Yeah.
they had to move away out of the house because there was lead paint and they had a baby.
Yeah.
Like we found that out like midway through the summer. We were just like, well, it's not that much lead. We're fine.
We're good. Yeah. It's crazy, man. And I loved Charlie and Heather because Heather is like a Harvard professor or something crazy like that. And
Yeah, she is.
A total sugar mama to Charlie.
Sure.
Like, I love skateboarding and doing all my passions, and I love my wife because I can do it,
He works on the railroad.
That's it. Oh my gosh.
So like for like 7 months of the year he just doesn't work, and then he's gone, just working constantly for the other like 5 or 6. And he's like a railroad conductor. Apparently you just cannot get into that profession unless you know somebody because it's very unionized.
Right.
I just remember he had some crazy love of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Like he would eat like pint at a time. I remember this. I don't know why.
I don't remember that. That's cool. Oh my gosh.
Did we make dinner for them one night?
I think we made dinner a couple nights. Like that was kind of our thing. Is we're like family dinner on Sundays, and one night in particular we made like enchiladas or something like that. And
that's right. That's right.
Knocked it out of the park. That was awesome. You were the main cook, so props to you.
Oh
yeah.
And you know what really made that second summer was we had the best breakfast place you can imagine.
Yes. Mario's Home Field Diner.
God, Mario's Home Field Diner. I still think about it. Like when I have over easy eggs with toast and sausage, like that's where my brain goes.
The sausage oh my god.
And then the dipping of the toast, like that's it was like $3.50 or $4 for the full breakfast.
Right? Every day.
Every day.
And
it was
I loved
awesome.
it because when we got there, like even with Greg, who eventually quit, right? We all got like a freaking group photo with Mario because he loved us immediately. He loved Will and Andrew and Andy.
I was going to say, he hosted them too.
Yeah. And the whole family, Mario's whole family was on Family Feud, right?
Oh, yeah, they were. They had a picture up.
You need to find that episode.
I just want to, like, one of the reasons I want to go back to my territory is to have breakfast at Mario's.
Same.
Like, that's one of the things I want to do.
Mm-hmm. And there's probably a few other things that, dude, I want to go back with you. Like, I want to go back and just explore all the places, even knock on some of the same old doors and be like, "Hey, remember me?"
And they'll be
And
like, "No, who are you?"
I don't know if I totally told you this. This is awesome because when I was driving, my fourth summer, I was wrapping up in Vermont, and I was having to go help Mitch Johnson move books out of his storage unit or something in Rhode Island. So I drove through the turf that you knocked on in New Hampshire, and I stopped by. If it was Troy or one of the nearby towns, I
Troy.
stopped by. I think it was that it was that house that had like Amber, that girl who was just like all over you. She's like, "Who's this
Yeah,
guy, Mom? I want to
Amber
meet
was
this
one.
guy."
Amber was one of those girls that they tell you the stories about at sales school.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Just stay away.
Just stay away.
But she's, we're hoping she's doing well. There's a
Yeah,
lot of unfortunate scenes we were able to see in New Hampshire, how people live their lives. But yeah,
that's
absolutely.
true. Yeah, live free or die. They mean it. They mean it.
Oh yeah, exactly. So this is what was unique, right, about my summer is obviously I was just like, I'm gonna work so freaking hard. I'm never gonna take my book bag off. Every time I get into the car, I'm gonna put my seat back, and I just
You
literally worked.
sprinted.
Exactly, dude. I injured myself and developed sciatica. You were there, you saw it, and so
Honestly, I felt bad because it looked painful.
I didn't want it to be painful, and I wanted to just work through it, but that just made it worse. And
Yeah,
for those who
too.
don't know, sciatica is where the nerve that goes from the base of your spine down to the tips of your toes. That's your sciatic nerve, longest nerve in the human body. I was like putting on so much stress and pressure onto that, part going into my right leg, that I like developed sciatica, where I was having a limp to every door. It got so bad. I called the sales manager, and I was like, "Yvette, this hurts. I don't know what's going on with me." And she's like, go get an X-ray, like go to a hospital." And I remember racking up like a huge hospital bill, and actually she was like, "Go to urgent care," and I got scolded for that because I got like a $400 bill that I just couldn't pay. And so I found out what was going on with me over time, and I wound up like week 8 or 6 or 7, somewhere in there. I had
I think it
to,
was 6.
yeah. So halfway through the summer, I was like struggling, man. I didn't start out well at all. However, I did kind of figure some things out, where what I really figured out is I was just moving too fast, because they forced me, doctor's orders, to take a break every 2 hours while working, which they were like, take a 30-minute break every 2 hours. And I'm like, "Yeah, that is this okay?" And she's like, "Doctor's orders," right? She knew she wasn't
Doctor's
going to get money
orders.
out of my sales that summer. But like, I just like, I slowed down, and I was limping to each door. And whether it was the pity or something else, I had like the worst rejection that I had ever had on doors to that point that week.
Yeah.
Like I don't give a shit if you're injured. Get off my property. Like, limp away, little guy. But I also had my favorite customers that week. I had my best week of the summer so far, taking a 30-minute break every 2 hours, and it was fun. I even gave us like a little part on the Sunday meeting that next week. Thing
And
is, I had to go home early because I couldn't keep it up. It was just
the back.
continuously getting worse.
It was too bad. And you know what? I found that taking breaks throughout the summer was how I went about it as well. Daily, making sure that you're taking breaks often. I was not the most. You actually, we were very different. You worked harder than anybody, and probably, and I didn't. I had a lot more fun, but I also didn't.
It's okay. We still.
I did not. I did not work as hard for summer either. Honestly, I didn't work that hard, but I had a lot of fun. And I think that's why if I sold any, that's why, because I was having fun with people. You know, one time that Amber and her mom called me once. So I had the same cell phone number that I had back then. Like
Yeah.
2 years ago, they called me and they were like, "We're doing." Yeah, 2 years ago, they were like, "We're doing the college prep for Amber's younger sister, who's now
Yeah.
going into college prep." And they're like, "We're doing the college prep. How does this work?" And I'm like, "Oh God, I'll try. I don't know. It's been 4 years. I can go through the math book if you want to do that."
It's color coded.
Yes, this way you can teach your kids. Yeah, but you always say that I taught you how to have fun, but you taught me how to work hard. So I think it evened out.
Hey, we're all better for it, right?
That was a fun summer.
Oh my gosh, because I remember when I was having to slow down, right, and take it easy with work. I wound up the week after my best week following managers for the entire day and just sitting in the car and following you, dude. That was such a blast. I followed Chase Hartner, I followed Jordan Yurkovich, I followed you, and bro, I followed you like 2 times. And you had like your best days in sales.
Yeah, I know. I had
like
both summers.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I had like back-to-back double steak days or something. It was crazy. I never sold that well in my life. I just the right ingredients. That was the Troy town. That was Troy. And what was the other town? Troy and
Keene, right?
Keene, yeah. That was their neighboring towns. Yeah. And man, those were some fun times because I had people following me 3 or 4 days of that week.
Yeah.
Because when someone's doing well, they just put someone on to follow them.
Right. Keep up that momentum.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want people to like take a break like I probably would have.
Oh man, I remember you were adamant. You were like the day that I followed you a second time. You were like, "I'm gonna drop you off at your car midway through the day, and you can drive home and like sleep in the bed or whatever." And I'm just like, "No, like I'm having fun. I want to stay with you." And you're just like, "Please." I might be misremembering that, or maybe they actually set a first year to work with you that day or something. But
I had one day, Whitney's younger, the Becca, I don't remember her name. She followed me, but I think that was before. And then I think I might have needed you to just go home so I could take a rest.
That's what I was thinking.
It was like, this is too much. I can't do it. Zach used to scold me for taking breaks my first summer.
I would hope that he did.
Well, I was the first 2 weeks I was really diligent, and then our other roommate Philippe, who dated Hannah, that's how he got into it. He called me one day because my car broken down, so I was on foot. I had my phone, so I could meet up at the end of the day. And he calls me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to go to like the park?" I was like, I can't walk there. It's like 6 miles. He was like, "I'll pick you up." And then from then it was over. It's done.
Schedule, right?
It's fine. I had 100 units a week. It's okay. I had 200. Didn't realize how important it was to work hard. Oh man. So that gets you into trouble, not during the summer, but during deliveries.
Yeah.
A bunch of weak units. Weak units don't work.
Yeah,
they do.
But more on that another time.
We don't need to talk later.
About how to sell books. We're done with that, right?
Well, I'm not. No one listening here is selling books, and if you are, go sell books.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the podcast.
Small plug for some of those people is like 4 summers is the greatest thing that I ever did for my professional acumen and my skill set. Like I'm like starting to run shit here in a sales organization. I did for the last organization I was at in life insurance. And it's all because I like knew how to write out a sales talk. I also knew how to write out training for new recruits and like process and systems. Like it's a playground where you can actually learn the raw skill, Because now businesses are like, hey, run Facebook ads and generate your own leads that way. Like people are trying to get off doors in a lot of sensible ways, but also to the detriment of that capacity to develop the play and the
Mhm.
ability to read people and whatever you want to describe it as. But there's just so much that gets learned when you talk to 3,000 families in a
Thousand
summer.
people, 3,000 families. That's the line. It's
Right?
it's true. It's true. You know, I definitely unquestionably where I am today because of it. Like I
Absolutely.
didn't, like with how I did in school, me doing Southwestern helped me so much. So the 2 years I had were awesome, but for going back to third year, it was like, ooh, I am in debt, so I should not do that.
Not a good idea.
Oh God, I didn't because I sold books well, but I didn't like to crew people at the end of the summer. It, so I all the so I'd get a lot of weak units, and then they wouldn't pay. So I didn't ever have great summers except for my first summer, and then I also add on the whole not really wanting to work that hard thing.
A little bit.
But I had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I just think about because every time I've had an episode, I love to ask people, how did you have fun on doors? And like, do you have any crazy stories you want to share? I mean, I can think of a few just from those few days that we were on doors together. And like there was a lady who was swimming in her
Oh, she was
backyard
swimming
above
in her
ground pool.
backyard pool. That's
But she's
right.
laying on a floaty. You tell that story,
did,
please.
did, wait, now I don't remember. I remember going up to it and asking to get into the pool,
Yes.
and I did, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, because I distinctly remember a picture of me in a pool after, after finishing. Listen, I knew she was going to be outside for like 15 minutes. She's in a pool. She's not running inside. She'd trip. So I was like, perfect opportunity to approach. I I loved the weird approaches. Like if it wasn't knocking on a door, it was much better for me.
Right, right. You're just kind of catching people on like out of nowhere. They're like, "What the heck? Okay, what are you doing? Okay, all right."
I I think my second summer was when I knocked down all those mailboxes. I think I knocked down like 11 mailboxes my
I
second
remember
summer.
you telling me about knocking down mailboxes. So you played some
I
weird games, didn't you?
well, I just would not like when I was reversing. This is not safe, but when I was reversing, I just would not look behind me. I would be like, they'll wait, they'll stop, and I took out like a lot of mail. Like I remember two people actually made me replace their mailbox. Made like get the cement mix, put it in, wait for it to dry. I had to spend like an entire morning making cement mix and putting it in a mailbox. It was like a really nice mailbox that I just destroyed.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I think I hold the record for most mailboxes in the summer. I mean, 11. That's once a week. I'm taking out a mailbox.
You're a crazy motherfucker, Jordan Greenberg.
I gotta look behind you. I remember one time I hit a mailbox before I had talked to a family. Like I hit the neighbor's mailbox, and then I knocked, and that was my approach. Was like, "Is this your mailbox?" I think I hit it. Also, I'm Jordan Greenberg with the Southwestern. Oh man, that's fun. Now you got heard about midway through the summer, but you had a fair amount of sales. You had 50 families that I had to deliver to. Is that right? Right about that number?
Something like that. Something like that. I wrote up about 1,000 units in 6 weeks. The prior summer, I wrote up 1,200, and so I was like real proud
The
of
whole thing.
myself for you know kind of being on track to hit growth or whatever. But you're
Mm-hmm.
right. I just had to putter out with those 50 or so customers that you went and delivered for me.
that I went and tried to deliver for you. I had some success.
Yeah,
I
you
had
delivered
some
like
people,
700, almost 800 units. So.
yeah, I had some people that were not down with the cause, and they're like, "Who are you? You're not the guy I bought from. Is this a scam?" I was like, "No, he got hurt. I'll call him. Like, this is the books. I have them."
Right.
I always loved delivery week. That was because there's no schedule. It's just work and deliver as much as you can. But I
Right.
really bought into what Hannah Reesberg said about upsells, which is they have their checkbook. Just it's already out. They're already buying.
Back it on.
It was the best. Oh man, and
Remember,
also
go ahead.
no, I don't remember what I was going to say. I'll be honest.
Oh, sure. Well, I remember that you told me about a customer of mine. Can't remember his name, but I like sold this kid so emotionally that they like pushed you away. They're like, "You're not Nick. We refuse," or something like that. And I like was sitting down with the dad and the kid in the backyard, and I think I had a first year following me, and I was like, not even
Mm-hmm.
that. I just felt like there was this really emotional conversation regarding the kid being bullied in school and me selling the book as a way for him to gain confidence so that even if he does
Oh
get
God.
bullied, he'll still be like
Oh.
confident in himself. And they're like, and the kid was like, yeah, I would be confident with these books and I would use them. And the dad's like, "Are you sure? Like, you're not a smart kid at all. Like, are you really gonna do this?" And I'm just like,
Oh
"Hey, yeah. I
man.
mean, if you're telling him he's not smart, then he needs
I
these type
hate those
stuff."
parents. Those parents make me so angry.
Sometimes.
The you're not going to use them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had this one kid, and it was my second summer. I'll never forget it. It was like early on. The mom invites me in, really friendly, just like offering me like meatballs, like she's making dinner, so it's
Yeah.
gravy time,
Yeah.
and she like sits me down, and I tell her what I'm doing. She's like, "Great, I'm going to invite my daughter out here. She's 16. If you can get her to say she will use these, I will buy everything in your box."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, time to let's go.
Turn on the
This
charm.
is the whole bag. Let's go." And I just this daughter was just so what's the word I'm looking for? I don't remember. She just would refused to say she was interested in using them. I was like, "Don't you think they'd be helpful?" She's like, "Yeah, they would be helpful, but I wouldn't use them." I'm like, "God, like, do you see how this would help you with math and then writing a paper? Would you use this at least for one paper?" She's like, "Yeah, this is perfect." I'd never use it. You're the worst.
Oh gosh. So, like, do you have customers that stand out, ponies, if you will, that you'll never in your like a million years forget?
Yeah. I have one from my first summer, and I have like three or four from my second. My first summer pony was so this actually relates to a story earlier in the summer. It was like week 2, and I approached this house, family's outside, and the dad is furious at me for coming onto his property, and he starts chasing me with lawn loppers. And yeah, right. And then I get in my car, I hightail it out of there, right? So
Okay.
5 or 6 weeks later, I'm in the next town over, and I'm talking to this lady, and she's like, "Oh, I've heard of you. Did my ex-husband attack you?" And I was like, "Maybe." She was like, "Lawn loppers?" And I was like, "Oh my God, he did. That was him." She's like, "I feel so bad. He's here. He's ready to apologize." And then he bought the whole bag. Kids through like not extended, but kids through math and science and history and all that.
That's impressive.
It was all out of him just feeling bad for trying to attack me. He was not going to buy.
That's hilarious.
And
that was the first summer you said?
That was my first summer. The second summer, there's this family that I distinctly remember, the stay-at-home mom and her husband was a fireman, and they had two kids. One, I think his name was Charlie and like Evan. They were boys. One was like 5 and one was 3, and they were just the nicest people ever. They got it. You know the people who get it, and they were just like, yeah, this sounds awesome. Let's buy it all. And then I went back for, they bought all the kids stuff, and I went back for delivery, and they bought all the adult stuff or the high school stuff too.
Nice.
They were really nice.
We like
They're good people. Ones. I think I love the nice ones.
They make it worth it, man. It's so like, because I'm still in sales. I'm still knocking on doors. I've knocked on like 60,000 doors in my day, man, and wow. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, let me be honest. I padded that with like the knock and no answers, but I've had probably
that's a knock.
Exactly. I probably had 20.
Your knuckles are calloused.
Right. No, I figured out how to prevent that, so not anymore. Take the pen and go.
Oh wow, that's so simple. How did I never think of it? I'm so angry.
Yeah, Mike, thank you for that tip. So, because you don't want that knocker's knuckle, but it's crazy to me, having knocked on, dozens of thousands of doors, that it's like so hard to just find those nice people. I mean, so hard. I mean, that's all our self-talk was. I'm just looking for cool moms, open-minded moms, But, and so you can simplify it and like, make it through. But at the same time, it's like such a small percentage of people are just buyers, or even if they're not, they're just like so open-minded and patient or excited and happy. And they're like, treat you as a full-on human, right? They respect you. They admire you. Man, I'm like upset, right? That there aren't more of those people in the world. Mm-hmm. Imagine what life would be like if everybody was like that,
It'd be too easy to sell books. You wouldn't grow. You wouldn't grow. It's funny. I only remember one of the really mean people. Just one. And it was the one guy who wouldn't give me water. He was very mad at me for knocking. He was furious.
I definitely had one of those. So.
And I was like, sometimes when they're really mad, I just try and ask for something that any reasonable human would give me. Like, oh, do you have a top? Can I like stand in the shade? Whatever. And I was like, can you fill up my water bottle? Can I use the hose? And he was like, no, you can't. Get off my property. And I was like, the hose.
Yeah, it's like mercury in it and all this stuff. It's like an appointment.
Come on. This is better for you. So mad. Oh, God. Those people are funny. So there was a story that stuck that I just got reminded of while we were talking. Yeah. In my second summer when my car was not working, I had to walk. And this was after that car was a piece of shit. It was so bad. There was no bumpers, no headlights, and no brakes. I had to use the handbrake. That car was an accident waiting to happen.
So you were on foot this week, eh?
I was on foot this week, and I remember that the town was really upset because I didn't have a permit for that town. I was in a new town, and I didn't walk to the police station first. I started knocking, and the cops obviously got called on me, and the cops heard about me from other towns. They were like, it's okay, just don't knock in here until you get a permit. So come back tomorrow and get a permit. To which I said, sure. And then I continued to knock, just on a different street. Yeah, I'm walking, right?
Yeah.
And not an hour goes by, and the cops get called again. And they're like, all right, get out of the town. And I was like, I remember saying to the cops, I don't have a car. Can you give me a ride to the town? And they're like, no, just walk. So there I am, middle of August, walking down a highway, 95 degrees, just I'm walking on the shoulder.
And you couldn't be like, hey, Nick, I know you're in the next town over. Because, first of all, I was gone by that point in the summer.
Gone by
And
that
second
point.
of all, that's against the rules, right?
Exactly. Can't call anybody. Oh my God. Oh, that was hilarious. I think my favorite story from my second summer was the time I got citizens arrested.
Oh.
This is
Oh.
they
Oh, I know this one. Are you sure that was the second summer? I thought it was the first summer.
It all kind of blends together. I think it was my second. It might have been my first.
Yeah.
The problem is I had the same car for both, so it's hard to distinguish.
Right.
I remember the car. Anyway, I'm in the town, and I'm going down this one road. I've been doing well, and I knock, and the family rejects me. They don't have any kids, so I start prospecting for other families with her, and she's very uncomfortable, and she's like, no, I won't tell you anything. So whatever. I continue walking, and then I go to like this house a little bit down the road. No one answered. It's fine. So I'm driving, and the lady who was a little weirded out steps out in the middle of the road and calls her boyfriend over, who takes my keys. And she's like, Scott, take his keys. We're citizens arresting him. He's working with a pedophile, because the house that I knocked on after theirs was a pedophile registered. And he didn't answer. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm not. I'm just selling books. You heard the spiel. And she's like, no, you're working with him. I know it. You're giving kids information around town. And they'd taken the keys out of my car, and they're like, call the police. Neither of them had their phone. I was like, do you want to use mine? So they use my phone. They call the cops. And the cops come, and they're like, yeah, that's Jordan. He has a permit. Did he show it to you? And she's like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure he counterfeited it. I'm like, no, that's the real one. The cop comes up to me, and they're like, Jordan, technically, because they took your keys, it's considered a kidnapping. Do you want to press charges? I was like, I just remember, no, I have to knock on doors. I got to get back to work. Oh, man. No, like, just don't knock on this street.
Like lawyers in your family or something where you'd already been through an experience like that, you would have just, all right, let's do this dance.
Let's do it. Now you'll learn.
That's great.
That was so fun. I think that might have been first summer, actually. Yeah. I think that was first summer. Oh, wait, you're saying second? I thought it was first.
Connecticut. Because
Connecticut first, yeah.
I remember hearing that at a Sunday meeting with like, Jen, what is her last name? From Creighton, Jenny Shorgle. She was like
Jenny Shorgle. That's right. Of course, I remember Jenny.
I haven't talked to her like more than twice since that first summer. It's crazy.
She was at Kansas.
Yeah, she went to grad school. Yeah.
I almost saw her one time during alumni weekend when I went back to Kansas, but it just didn't work out. We tried. It would have been really fun. Yeah. She's actually friends with a girl that I dated in college.
Oh, cool.
So weird. What coincidences.
Silly stuff. So this was like so long ago, man, and it's all like it just like, because you're in it doing nothing but books for like eat, sleep, breathe, and then maybe a nap or two or a break maybe. But
or three.
Right. It's all you think about though. So it really feeds its way deeply into your life. And unfortunately, as we've noticed, not just in these podcast episodes, but like in the conversations with any alum out there, it's a little too much of a core identity thing for people. And especially when it comes to the commitment side of things and like leaving and never leave. It's the greatest place to build the skills and character, which I have a hard time arguing with, but I have a hard time agreeing with in terms of like compensation and treating people as more than just a number sometimes. A lot of the culture has improved since we both left.
That's good.
Oh my gosh,
that's good.
It's really, really great. I've spent time with Shane Blake, living with him in Colorado, and seeing how he's running his organization. It's awesome. But what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I know some of the people who are leaders now, right?
Yeah.
The Aishas, the Dannys, they're such good people that like I know that at least people are being treated right.
Absolutely.
And that's not to say that Yvette and Grant and whoever was our leaders weren't good people, but
Right.
the people that I know, I can like personally vouch for them. So it's good to see that they're in leadership, and I know they're obviously good people.
And it's crazy, like remembering all the time that, we were first in the business while they were first in the business. And, I remember meeting Aisha in Boston, and Danny
Yep.
was just like this, like, oh, I'm going to go hit on strangers at, the Quincy market and all that stuff.
He was 17. He was 17.
Yep.
The guy hadn't had a drink yet, and he was like, his first drink was like at Sizzler. It was incredible.
Yep. So great people. They're running the show, and they're doing some innovative things. I helped them switch over to ZipRecruiter as a method for recruiting people because of the pandemic. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, when I was living with Shane Blick, they were starting to do online recruiting, and I was like, here, let me like build out the system for you guys and make it work, and take notes on everything. And then I actually I hopped on some Zoom trainings and trained some other people. And they actually like made it work, and it's just like, wow, cool, good for them. I recruited Shane in top 10 first year, but or something close to that. But anyway, there's such good things going on with that now, which is awesome. But I don't know if you've got time or the desire to talk about like your post Southwestern life. You could talk about how it's been helpful. You could talk about anything you want. So take the lead.
Well, yeah, I do have some time. So, we're post Southwestern life. I'll just, I know you know this, but there is so much more money to be made outside of Southwestern. It's true. And for people who crush it, no, maybe, but for people who just do well or kind of well, yeah. So post life Southwestern, I always like to say that post life Southwestern. Obviously, it kind of sticks with you. My fiance Sarah is so fucking tired of hearing these stories, so it's good to vent. She's like, "Oh, another book story, figures." Same with everybody I work with, but it helps so much in getting a job, being able to speak to it. People see it on a resume, and most of the time, you only put things that things that a high schooler couldn't do on a resume. If that's how I like to think about it. And it's very hard to do Southwestern. So people always see it and they're like, I looked this company up. What did you do? What were you? What? And you're like, yeah. I worked 80 hours a week selling books door to door. It's not a big deal. And they're like, no. What did you just say? Tell me more. I got to hear this story. So it gets you in a lot of doors for interviews. But the first job I had after Southwestern was a couple guys that had done Southwestern.
Right.
It was an offshoot of Tom James called Gentlemen's Cooperative. Mike Bernstein and Nick Roy. They sold Tom James, and then they started their own clothier, haberdashery, and I did that for a while. Similar commission structure, Southwestern. Which is a tough way to go about it, especially selling suits, because you're not coming across many people who want to buy suits. But that was only about a year.
Yeah.
The other jobs aren't, they're not the coolest, right? Is logistics that cool? No, right? A lot of people work in logistics, especially in Chicago. But
that's what you're up to now, yeah.
Which is how I got to where I am, which I'm not doing, but I was doing before this.
Oh, okay. Clear.
And it helped me get in the door there, and it helped me speak to, being able to sell door to door and, move quickly at a customer base. Where I am now, it's from the logistics, supply chain, data, technology. It's not the coolest, but I definitely got it because of Southwestern still. I was tied with another person for the hiring, and they were like, you sold books door to door. You probably have some grit. You probably can handle rejection well, which I can. And I guess, you know, a lot of the things that I still say are from books, hours, demo, you know, hours, attitude, what is it? Coachability. So people on my team get upset. You know, I used to sit in the office and be like, "Hey man, control the controllables," and they would just be so upset at all these bookisms that I have. I get pissed. That's control controllables is probably my favorite one. That's the one that I think
everything is so simple. I'm not going to care about this because I can't control it. Thanks.
Exactly. I can control how hard I work, the attitude I have, and how willing I am to learn. That's what I can control. And I've trained salespeople, you have too. Those are the things that I try and make sure they know. Those three things. That is, in my opinion, the pillar of sales.
Oh yeah. That's, you know, it's funny. Like I reconstructed a training manual for life insurance, and I was putting in like the layers of schedule. Well, what is schedule? What is it not? Right. And just like breaking it all down, and like to all of the agents that I was training that had already sold some things, they're kind of just like, oh no, it was the new hires that I was training that were just like really real awesome studs. They broke rookie records, just like selling 10,000 in AP in a week, you know, in their second week because I trained them so well. It was awesome. Yeah, these people are kind of like, this stuff is kind of obvious, but when I don't talk about those things, right, which is what I was trying to do before I made this training over again for this company, is there was like inconsistencies, people not, you know, virtual agents that weren't showing up and, you know, getting training because their schedule was off, right, and they're not putting in the work and, you know, hours, demos, attitude, whatever. And it's a stark contrast when you don't train on that and when you do. Even though people are like, "Oh, we get it," you know, it's just like platitude.
Just put it into their brain. You know what? You know what other saying sticks out to me, and I didn't think it would because she wasn't my manager, she wasn't on my team, and she was in the org, but I never worked under her directly. I never followed her. I just remember her saying it on Sunday meetings. It's a numbers game.
Who said that?
Jess. Joel's.
Jeff. Yeah,
Jess Bauman. Is that right? Buman. It's a numbers game.
Just now.
It's a numbers game.
Yep. It's a numbers game. She was always so like whatever game about it. Yeah.
Like, do you guys not realize this? It is a numbers game. And that's true with sales anywhere. It's, you know, see more and sell more.
Favorite, right? That was his favorite. KJ.
Yep. Well, because it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'll say some of the things that I used to say then, which is like, yeah, I like to crystallize my, you know, schedule and my, you know, what numbers I need to get to. And my, you know, my manager, you know, now is like, he's like, crystallize. That's a great way to say it. It's exactly right. I'm like, you know, well, they told that to me 10 years ago.
Right. Oh man, crazy.
What was I going to ask? What was your experience like? What was I going to ask? Was it? Let me noodle. You can talk. I'm just noodling.
Insert elevator music here. Da, da, da. I don't know.
Yeah. What was so for me? Leaving Southwestern was tough because I was still young enough to really like be in it all and be in like the college of it all. And I, you know, I had crushes.
Yep.
We all do. I had book crushes. We all did. If you didn't have a book crush, you're a liar. I think I fell in love every week looking at the pace setter. But leaving Southwestern, I don't know. Was it a weird experience for you? You were there longer than I was. When I left, I basically only kept touch with you, Kathleen, and Whitney. That's it.
Well,
A little bit of Andres actually, but that's about all.
so you know how I left Southwestern because you were one of the first people I called after I left Southwestern.
I remember that. Yes, that's right. You had a tougher leaving than an average Joe.
Most people, and I've alluded to it in all these episodes here of getting fired. That's I feel like that needs to be like its own special thing. I don't know. It's also like so negative that I don't even want to bring it up.
A Nick T special. Yeah, it's true.
But when I left Southwestern because of some dick jokes that I said that people didn't like, and they called it sexual harassment. You know,
that's right. That's what. Yeah. You had.
That was a really core shaking, traumatic moment, right? Because of my identity is now so different. It galvanized me. It fired me up to say, screw you guys. I don't need you to be successful anyway. And I moved to San Diego.
You don't.
That's fair, right? We can't argue with that. We know what's possible. But it's also like I worked so hard. I put the blood, sweat, and tears. I full-timed that spring. So when I left, I had some people that thought that I like straight up quit and broke my commitment to my org and all this stuff. And I had to be proactive in getting the actual story out to people. And everyone was like quick to let go, right? It's easy for them to just stay in the bubble and stay busy and not make time.
Yeah.
But also, like, I recognize that and I don't take it personally, right? I don't think they were ignoring me to ignore me for any spiteful reason. Because when I did reach out and when I did care about them, it became mutual. And so that is one thing that I was adamant about, is maintaining the genuine relationships I had. And, you know, clearly I was living with Shane Blick, who's still in it over there in Colorado. I was, able to.
You're going to my wedding.
People. I'm coming to your wedding. Hell yeah, I'm coming to your wedding.
Actually, you're in town already, so don't leave.
Okay, cool. That's
it's there, so it works.
Your wedding's going to be down here then, huh?
Yeah, it's a year away.
Okay, cool. I won't leave. Sure.
You got time.
I'll pick you up. How about that? I'll drive you down here. But yeah, I mean, when I left, man, the frustration really was just built on how easy it is for them to be so into what they're doing that you don't matter near as much. And when you want to have the same levels and kinds of conversations that you used to, it's like, oh, hey, I gotta go, type stuff. Like it doesn't seem as in depth. Now there are a few people, shout out to like Vicky Varberg, my friend Alex Haro is a big reason why I was able to live there in Colorado. I love catching up with people like Danny and Aisha and all that. But I just like it's easy to ache for that same thing that you were talking about. That same system. You're all working your freaking tails off. You've got ambition. You got dreams. You all support each other. You tell the funniest of jokes, have the funniest of stories, do the coolest of things, go the coolest of places. Like, what's not to love about that, despite the effort that needs to go into it? Like all of the auxiliary benefits were so real. Like I don't know how to describe it other than like you're in a hole, like you're diving underwater and now you're a fish.
It's interesting because it's unlike anything that I've done, and it's probably unlike anything I'll do as well.
Right.
I was in a fraternity in college. Nothing like the same experience. There's nothing that's quite like the kind of memories and like mind-changing way you approach things than Southwestern. So I'll always love it for that. And it's fun. I wish I were closer with some of the people that I was close with.
Yeah.
That's how it happens, though. I mean, you just don't keep in touch because you don't have as much in common as you did, because you had everything in common. Everybody did the exact same things.
All the drama, the execs, man. Bro, doing execs with you in the morning. was so fun. Oh my god. We would do
That was
cripple
the best.
execs, we do zombie execs, we
Yeah.
do sexy stripper execs.
T-Rex execs?
Oh my god.
Oh, did never mind. I forgot.
Okay.
That's the influence.
That's fine. But yeah, man, there's nothing like this thing. And in fact, that's the big reason why we made this podcast, is kind of to capture that same energy in a bottle a little bit and, kind of share it with all the people in the community. Like, I'd love for you to share this with anybody you remember, like Whitney, like Kathleen, anyone else beyond that, like Zach or anyone else, to share this episode.
Like, you know who was really first year, but like, not Kathleen, but Catherine from Kansas. She like brought on her boyfriend, and then he like got in a car accident and his spleen exploded.
Oh yeah. Yes. Catherine, I'm trying to remember her last name. But I know who you're talking about.
Yep. Yep. I don't remember her last name either. Oh yeah, I had my question. I remember it. Do you still take cold showers? Yeah, you're right. That's it.
I have periods, but no, not right now.
I too have periods. I think that's maybe some people hate it. I like it. It kind of brings. If I'm in a cold shower, I'll do the same screaming I did. I'll do the same screaming I used to. Like, it's the same thing, but I kind of miss the cold showers. I'm going to be honest with you. I like them.
When it hits, man, I think of the quote that we take up underneath the shower head: "Though credit belongs to the man in the arena, whose face is marred with blood and sweat and dust, who knows the great devotions of this and that." Like, that's such a powerful thing, man. Thinking about going into the arena of life and just challenging yourself and engaging other people to do things that are great, man. Like,
do you remember Pyramid Dog?
Pyramid Dog, dude!
Pyramid Dog for life, man. He did so many push-ups. So, for context, people listening, we had this dog in our HQ year 2 that was weird shaped. He was shaped kind of like a triangle. So his front paws, he looked like he was yoked. He was so strong. So we just made up this rumor that he did push-ups every hour. So we would have a timer on our watch to go up every hour, and we would do push-ups for Pyramid Dog. PD push-ups.
PD push-ups. And I forget his name. It was like Taika or something. It was like
we made up names for all their dogs because we couldn't remember them. All the dogs.
Ryan.
Yeah, I was like, nah, he's a Ryan. I can see it. Actually, hold on. I just came across that photo of me cuddling with Pyramid Dog. Like, just the other day. Yeah, this one. Number 1 HQ.
Oh my God. Yes. I put that as my cover photo. Look at that.
It's amazing. We were the number 1 HQ. We were.
Like that.
It's fun. I'm just cuddling. I'm like naked cuddling their dog.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. And number 1 HQ, because every I think it wasn't every hour that we did push-ups, but that was what we respected Pyramid Dog because we knew that's what he did. So to honor him, I think it was like every day at noon. We did push-ups. And then we'd hold the number 1 HQ in the air. And we all did it at the same time. And I was like, "Did you do it today?" I did it. And you're like, "Yeah." And it was cool.
That was fun. And then, because we sold to that girl Amber. We both did push-ups in her front lawn. Because it was like mid-approach, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, it's noon. I had to do some push-ups."
Oh, what a pattern break! Yeah. Well, shoot, man. This has been fun. I've got things to do. I know you've got a girlfriend, a fiance, right?
Fiance.
Like the book thing. So
yeah, seriously.
What date is
This
that
is fun
wedding, by the
though.
way?
March 26th, 2022.
Cool, cool. Here in Sarasota, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Rock on. Well, I'm excited for you to just love life, and I'm not sure if you want to
I'm
say anything else, like any lessons to impart, wisdom, words to say.
Yeah, I got a lesson. I got some lessons.
Yes.
Have fun. It's not all about work. That's the best way I can say it, because you're not going to
Simple.
enjoy work if you don't have fun. You're not going to
Yeah,
enjoy
man.
work if you don't have fun.
And that's what I loved about living with you, man. I never forget the times that we spent together, even the stories that you told me of spending time with other people, like with Vincent Yurkovich, and he was just kind of like a stick in the mud that summer. So you like drove up to a yard sale or like a pile of free things and like pulled aside and was like, "Oh my gosh, I love this!" And he threw it in the back of your seat and went to the next house. And he's like, "What?" And just like showing people how to live life. That's all that he is,
I
right?
have one
Go ahead,
more story.
Go
I
ahead.
have
All
one
right,
more story. All
please.
right. Biggest rainfall of my second summer. I got this first year who's stuck in the mud. She's sad. She doesn't know how to have fun, and it's pouring rain. And I'm like, it's raining. Do you know what that means? It means we get to dance, because you've never danced unless you've danced in the rain. So there I am dancing my ass off, just in the street. And I'm like, she's not having fun. So I'm like, all right, I got to make this more fun. So I get on the roof of my car, on the
Yeah.
hood, and
I've done this because you told me about this.
it's raining. I'm wearing Chacos because I wore Chacos every single day of the summer, and I'm dancing, and I eat shit, slip, and I pile drive my hood and my elbow, like the people's elbow, right into the hood. And I have this massive dent in the hood of my car, and I'm like, wow, that was fun. Let's go. I'm soaking wet. It's a huge dent. God. I think she had fun after that. I think she was like, wow, you can do whatever you want. And remember, you can do whatever you want because it doesn't matter.
Some things matter, but
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's true. Whatever you're willing to listen to, that's what matters.
There's so much to be said for that, man, and I'm glad that you said that so many times around me because you've made me who I am, man. Almost more than
No,
anybody else I've ever worked with.
you have
And
to.
I love you, dude. I love
Love
you
you too,
like
man.
all the ways. And this is like the first time we've had like a full conversation since I like last saw you in person in March of 2019. That was a fun time, by the way.
That was fun. St. Patrick's Day was wild.
I know. Went to Detroit for a concert. Next day we're in St.
We
Patty's
drove
gear.
through the snow. We drove through the snow and ice at midnight.
Oh my
That was a
gosh,
bad
it was
idea.
dangerous. But we had those cricket T-shirts. It's our 20th
I still have it.
birthday.
I
Me
will not
too.
get rid of that cricket T-shirt.
I want to wear that to a
It's the perfect shade of green. It's the perfect shade of green.
Exactly. Oh man, you should fly out early for your wedding, and we can spend St. Patty's Day out here in Florida or something.
I'll be down there. I'll be down there for a while. Don't worry.
Nice. Well, hey, brother. Always good. I actually am recording this on my phone, so I wasn't able to go live on Facebook, which is fine. Sad, but also totally okay. It's all recorded.
Looks like we're live on YouTube though, and we have. I don't know if anybody's watching right now.
Probably not, but because I'm not on the right YouTube channel. But we're gonna upload it. Gonna upload it to our Ponytails podcast YouTube channel. We're gonna upload it to our iTunes and Apple. We're getting on all the platforms and getting things going, so that way you can share it with friends, family, whatever, if you want.
Nice. Well, for anybody listening, when the world gets going again, come to Chicago and we'll have a shot of Malort. It's only Malort. That's all I'll drink with you. So enjoy it.
It's gotta be Malort. Oh man.
All right, Nick. Love you, and we'll talk soon.
All righty. Until next time.
Give me a joke. I got one. What's mine? Do you want to hear a joke about ghosts?
That's the spirit, dude. I use that every day.
That's the spirit, baby.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, all
joke.
right. Well, let's just awkward
All
hand.
right.
Okay, I'll talk to you another time. I'll be bye.